beloved chosen one. Pause for a moment and breathe in this truth you have already won. The war that once raged within your soul, the endless battles that clawed at your peace, they are finished. You stand now not in uncertainty, but in divine victory. Heaven has already announced your name in triumph, echoing across the realms of spirit and destiny. You may not feel it yet, but everything around you is aligning to this truth. You have overcome what was meant to destroy you. The voice of God thunders even now, reminding you that the enemy's last attempt was only a shadow, an illusion. You did not break. You were forged. You were refined by the fire that others feared to walk through. Every tear that fell from your eyes was collected by heaven as testimony. You stood when others bowed. You stayed when others fled. And because of that, the crown of endurance rests upon you. Listen carefully. Chosen one, this is not a random message. Heaven has paused time to tell you your victory is not pending, it is complete. The realm of spirit has already moved. You are simply catching up to what eternity already declared. Do not let your current surroundings fool you. The silence around you is not the absence of movement, it is the echo of completion. There were nights you cried and asked, "When will the storm end?" But the truth is, it already did. What remains now is the calm before the manifestation. Heaven's decree has already been sealed. What was once chaos has now become clarity. What was once loss is turning into restoration. You have crossed a spiritual finish line that others cannot see. And though your heart might still feel weary, it beats to the rhythm of victory. You are not waiting for freedom, you are walking in it. You are not begging for love, you are being prepared to receive it in its purest form. You are not lost, you are being positioned. We are reminded through the writings of Moses in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, "The Lord will fight for you, you need only to be still." These words are not merely comfort, they are divine instruction. Your victory is not dependent on your striving, but on your surrender. The one who began this good work in you has already completed it in the unseen realm. Your only task now is to stay still in faith, to remain positioned in obedience. Even now, heaven is whispering, "Stay put. Do not run from this moment. Do not chase what I have already assigned to you. Let me bring it to your door. Your future, your calling, and your lifetime partner are all orbiting closer, guided by divine gravity. What belongs to you will find you, not through striving, but through surrender. Do you feel that peace rising? That's not just emotion, it's evidence. It's the assurance that you have crossed into a new season. The war within has ended. The angels that once fought for your survival now guard your destiny. The battles that once drained you now serve as the testimony that will empower others. You are standing in a divine turning point. Heaven is celebrating your endurance. What felt like delay was really preparation. What felt like rejection was divine protection. You were never behind. You were being hidden for the right time. And now that time is approaching swiftly. Chosen one, do not move. Do not panic. Do not chase validation or force outcomes. You are already chosen, already sealed, already crowned. The moment you begin to rest in that truth, everything that belongs to you begins to gravitate toward you. The universe bows to obedience. When you obey the instruction to stay still, you create space for heaven to move. Do not confuse stillness with silence. The stillness is where divine orchestration unfolds. You may not see the threads being woven, but they are. God is preparing hearts, shifting places, aligning timings, all to fulfill the promise that carries your name. So breathe. Beloved, the battle has already been fought. The victory is already written. You are stepping into a new chapter where effort bows to grace. This is the moment to celebrate without seeing, to dance before the music begins, to trust before the proof arrives. Because heaven never lies if he said it. It will come to pass. Right now, take a prophetic step of agreement. Lift your heart and type in the comments 777, I receive my divine victory. Let that number be your public declaration that you trust heaven's timing. Like this message. Share it so others may find their strength again. And subscribe to stay under this anointed flow. You are not here by accident. You were summoned by destiny. You won. Chosen one. Now, stay put, because what's coming next is not just a blessing, it's your life's fulfillment. Chosen one. After the battle comes the stillness, and this stillness is not emptiness. It is divine activity hidden beneath silence. Heaven is moving even when the earth seems still. You are now standing in that sacred pause between victory and fulfillment. It is a holy space, a divine holding pattern where God shields what he is constructing for you. Every delay is not denial. Every quiet moment is a layer of protection. The noise has faded. The battlefield lies silent. And your spirit, once trembling, is now learning the rhythm of rest. But this stillness can feel strange, even uncomfortable. After fighting for so long, your soul expects more conflict. Yet now heaven is whispering, peace, be still. Do not reach for what I am already aligning. In this season, the instruction is clear. Remain where you are. Do not chase. Do not push. Do not strive. For when heaven is building, your only task is to stay grounded in trust. You may not see the blueprints, but God is working in dimensions your eyes cannot perceive. Every chosen one faces this moment, the quiet after the storm, the hush after the miracle. It is here that impatience tries to creep in. The enemy will whisper, maybe nothing is happening, but in truth, everything is. The roots of your destiny are deepening unseen, like a seed buried in the soil. The darkness around you is not punishment, it is gestation. You have come too far to rush now. You are being positioned, not punished. Stillness is the proving ground of faith. It separates those who trust the plan from those who only trust progress. You are being invited into maturity, the kind that no longer panics when heaven grows quiet. Listen carefully. Silence does not mean God has left. It means he is working in secret, constructing something too delicate for human interference. You are being prepared to receive what cannot be contaminated by haste. Divine timing is precision, not procrastination. You cannot accelerate what God has intentionally sealed. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God." This is not merely poetic language, it is a command. A reminder that stillness is not inaction, but awareness. To be still is to stand in revelation, to know that God's presence is the constant in every changing circumstance. Chosen one. Heaven is not testing your strength now, it is refining your stillness. Because what comes next requires calmness under pressure, patience under promise, and peace under preparation. The lifetime partner that heaven is sending will not find you in chaos, but in composure. You must become the peace you desire to live in. There will be moments where loneliness tries to whisper lies, telling you that maybe you missed your turn, that maybe you should go back to what was familiar. But remember, the familiar is not always faithful. What God is sending you is faithful. Even if it is not yet visible, you are being asked to rest, not regress. Heaven is still writing your story. Behind the scenes, the orchestration continues. You are not forgotten, you are being reserved. You are not unseen, you are being hidden for divine unveiling. When the time is right, God will lift the curtain, and every quiet moment will make sense. You are learning to trust God without constant confirmation. That is the mark of spiritual maturity, to believe that His hand is still moving, even when His voice is silent. The greatest works of God are often done in the dark. The womb is dark before the child is born. The seed is buried before it grows. The night is darkest before dawn. And so, you wait. But this waiting is not wasted, it is worship. Each breath you take in faith is incense rising to heaven. Each moment you resist panic is a declaration that you believe in divine orchestration. Stillness becomes your language of trust. Do not let impatience sabotage what heaven is perfecting. The enemy loves to rush the chosen. He wants you to move before the promise matures, to force open doors that were meant to open effortlessly. But heaven's way is graceful. What is divine never demands striving, it invites surrender. Let peace anchor you. Let faith be your rhythm. The stillness you are in is not an end, it is the pause before the unveiling. You are in the hands of a God who never sleeps, never miscalculates, never forgets. Every detail of your next chapter is being aligned, the timing, the location, even the heart of the one meant for you. So breathe again. Let your spirit unclench. You have permission to rest. You are allowed to stop fighting and simply exist in His presence. The silence is sacred because it is filled with unseen creation. This moment is holy because it is birthing what you have prayed for. Remain where you are. Chosen one, stay put. Heaven is not done. The promise is not late, it's loading. Chosen one, this is the test that separates those who are called from those who are truly chosen, the test of waiting. Not the waiting that counts hours on a clock, but the waiting that measures faith in silence. You have shouted, prayed, believed, and hoped. But now heaven whispers, wait. And that word feels heavier than war. You see, battles you can fight, delays you can't control. When heaven commands stillness, your flesh screams to move. Your mind races with plans and backup routes. But your spirit knows that disobedience would only lead to circles, not progress. You are learning that spiritual maturity is not proven by action, but by restraint. This is not punishment. This is purification. Waiting reveals what you truly trust. Do you trust God only when doors open quickly? Or do you trust Him when every door remains shut and the hallway feels endless? Waiting purges the need for control and replaces it with divine surrender. You are not being ignored, you are being refined. Heaven is removing your dependence on speed so that when your blessing arrives, you won't destroy it by rushing. What God is building in your life is eternal, not fragile. You cannot microwave miracles. You must let them simmer under the fire of patience. There are moments when the weight will feel unbearable. You will see others receive what you prayed for and wonder, "What about me?" But remember, your path is custom. Heaven's timeline for you was written before your first breath. If He makes you wait longer, it's because He is preparing you for greater. You are being trusted with timing. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 24, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receives the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." The wait is not wasted time, it is training time. You are running, not idly, but with purpose. The finish line is already yours, but endurance is what carries you across it. Every chosen one must pass through this sacred delay. The wait is the divine classroom where faith matures and impatience dies. It is in this quiet season that heaven teaches you to live from peace instead of panic, from faith instead of frustration. You are not being still because nothing is happening. You are being still because everything is aligning. Do not mistake the silence of heaven for the absence of motion. The delay is where angels rearrange outcomes, where hearts soften, where paths converge unseen. Heaven is strategic. What seems like pause is precision. If God opened every door right now, some blessings would arrive out of season, and anything out of season cannot survive. So, you are told again, wait. Stay steady. Keep your oil burning. Like the wise virgins in the parable, you must be ready when the moment arrives, not scrambling when it's too late. Heaven does not reward panic, it rewards preparation. Every prayer, every tear, every surrender is being gathered into a perfect moment that will not miss its mark. Do not let comparison rob your confidence. Others may seem to be moving faster, but they are not moving in your lane. You were never meant to compete. You were meant to complete a divine assignment. When it is your time, no one can occupy your place. Heaven's calendar never runs behind it, simply operates beyond human clocks. Chosen one, you may feel weary. You may question if you misheard God. But no, you heard correctly. You are simply walking the path of patience that every chosen soul must endure. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are being ripened, not rejected. Heaven trusts you enough to test your weight. There will come a moment when everything suddenly makes sense. When the silence breaks, it will break beautifully. When the promise manifests, it will arrive effortlessly. You will realize that what felt like delay was really divine choreography, every moment planned with perfection. So hold your position. Keep your heart pure. Stay faithful in the unseen. Heaven is watching how you wait. The reward of obedience is never withheld from those who endure with faith. Now, if your heart bears witness that this word is for you, declare it aloud or type it below as a seal of agreement, "I will wait." Because when you write those words, you are not just commenting, you are prophesying over your life. You are announcing to heaven and to every unseen realm that you refuse to give up before the promise arrives. You are declaring that your waiting is not weakness, it is worship. The promise still stands. Chosen one, do not rush the story God is still writing, for when He unveils it, it will be worth every second of the silence. Chosen one, there is a rhythm to heaven that does not bend for human urgency. Divine timing has its own pulse, steady, deliberate, beyond all earthly clocks. When you walk with God, you learn to move at the pace of eternity, not emotion. Your breakthrough, your partner, your destiny, all of it is orchestrated to unfold at the exact moment heaven declares, now. But your heart often wants to rush ahead, doesn't it? You feel the promise stirring inside you and think it must be time to act. Yet what you feel is not always what heaven reveals. There is a difference between sensing what's coming and being ready for it. God shows you glimpses to build faith, not to provoke haste. In this space of divine pacing, patience becomes your greatest weapon. You are learning to discern between movement and momentum. Not every opportunity is divine acceleration. Some are disguised distractions. When you move outside God's timing, you step outside His covering. But when you yield to His rhythm, everything begins to flow with supernatural ease. Heaven's timing feels different because it is not driven by fear of missing out. It is rooted in certainty. God is not rushing to meet a deadline. He already holds the finish before the beginning. Every second of your life has been woven with precision. The people you will meet, the doors that will open, the love that will find you, all of it is synchronized within heaven's perfect calendar. The Spirit spoke through Solomon, the wise king of Israel, reminding us in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11, He has made everything beautiful in its time. That means not before, not after, in its time. There is beauty in waiting because beauty takes time to form. The masterpiece cannot be rushed without losing its meaning. Chosen one, you are part of a divine masterpiece. Every delay, every closed door, every seeming detour, they are brushstrokes on the canvas of your destiny. You may not see the full image yet, but heaven sees it completed. You only see fragments, but God holds the frame. Trust that what feels out of place now will fit perfectly when the portrait is revealed. There are two types of timing, human and divine. Human timing is driven by comfort. Divine timing is driven by purpose. Human timing asks, why not now? Divine timing answers, because I'm preparing you. When you surrender to divine timing, you are telling heaven, I trust you more than my need to understand. Sometimes God delays not because you are unworthy, but because the environment around you is not yet ready. What He's preparing for you requires alignment of hearts, of circumstances, of seasons. The love that heaven is sending must mature in the other person as much as it does in you. If He brought it now, one of you would mishandle what was meant to be holy. That's why heaven says, wait, not to punish you, but to protect the promise. The delay is not rejection, it is calibration. Heaven is syncing destinies, adjusting hearts, refining motives. Your waiting season is someone else's preparation season. When divine timing arrives, there will be no confusion. You won't have to chase, persuade, or perform. Things will simply click. Conversations will flow naturally. Doors will open effortlessly. Peace will rest deeply, because what is divine does not come with chaos. What is sent from God is marked by calm confidence. So if things feel quiet now, do not despair. Silence is not inactivity, it is incubation. What heaven is forming in secret will one day appear fully grown, and everyone will know it was God. You will not need to announce it. Your life will testify. The greatest gift heaven gives to the chosen is timing, because without it, even blessings can become burdens. Imagine receiving your promise before your heart could carry it, before your character could protect it. Timing is mercy in disguise. You are being taught to walk in step with heaven. This rhythm may confuse those around you, but it will sustain you. Others may rush ahead, but you will arrive exactly when you're meant to. Destiny never demands you to compete. It simply calls you to align. Let this truth settle deeply. Divine timing is never late. It only feels delayed to the impatient heart. When you finally see how everything connects, you'll thank God for every not yet. You'll realize that His slowness was your safety, and His pauses were your preparation. Chosen one. The greatest act of faith is to trust His timing without resentment. To wake up each day and say, even if it's not today, I still believe, because in the divine story written for you, every waiting moment is already accounted for. The clock of heaven never runs out, it runs deep. Stay aligned, stay steady, and stay faithful. The beauty that's coming will make sense of every delay. Chosen one. There comes a moment when heaven begins to send confirmation, small signs, divine whispers, moments that make your spirit stir. It may come through a dream that feels too vivid to be coincidence. Through words someone speaks that echo what you prayed in silence, or through that gentle warmth in your heart that says, this is it. Heaven does not shout, it signals. The signs are there if you are still enough to notice them. You see, when the Creator writes your story, He leaves fingerprints everywhere. Sometimes it's in the timing of an encounter. Sometimes in the sudden peace that replaces confusion. These are not random. They are coded messages from the divine, telling you that the promise has moved from heaven's registry into manifestation. The angels have begun to carry what you asked for into your timeline. You are not waiting for a miracle to form. You are waiting for your eyes to recognize it. Prophetic confirmations begin subtly, like the first light of dawn. You do not see the full sun yet, but you know it's coming. Heaven often speaks in hints, because mysteries are sacred. The ones who are attuned will recognize what others overlook. The apostle wrote in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you. This verse is not just instruction, it is permission. You are allowed to ask again. You are invited to seek deeper. You are called to keep knocking, not with desperation, but with confidence that heaven always answers, even if not in your preferred language. When you begin to see patterns repeating, numbers, names resurfacing, divine coincidences, do not brush them away as luck. Heaven speaks through order. The universe, under divine command, arranges details to make sure the message reaches you. These signs are reminders that the promise is alive, not forgotten. Sometimes the confirmation is emotional, a peace so profound that it silences every doubt. Sometimes it's physical, an unexpected opportunity, a letter, a reunion, a moment that feels divinely scripted. Whatever form it takes, it is heaven's way of whispering, I heard you. But to hear heaven, you must silence noise. The spiritual ear only works in quiet trust. When your heart is tuned to gratitude, your perception sharpens. You begin to see how every event, even the painful ones, was necessary. You start noticing how everything connects like pieces of a divine mosaic. From afar, it may look chaotic, but when you step back, you see an image of perfect order. Chosen one. The signs are multiplying because your season is shifting. The waiting room is turning into a doorway. The prophetic confirmations are not meant to tease you, but to strengthen your faith. Heaven knows you have endured much, and so it sends encouragement before the unveiling. Just as dawn precedes sunrise, confirmation precedes manifestation. When you feel that warmth inside, that sudden knowing, do not dismiss it. That is the Spirit bearing witness with your spirit that the promise is near. Trust it. Hold on to it. Water it with gratitude and humility. Imagine this journey like walking through a foggy mountain path. For a while, you cannot see far ahead. But as you take each faithful step, the mist begins to lift. Suddenly, you catch glimpses of the peak, your promise glowing in the sunlight. Each glimpse is confirmation. It's heaven saying, "Keep going. You're almost there." And when those moments come, remember to share them. Every testimony is a torch that helps another chosen one find their way. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, it's not about numbers, it's about light. You are helping carry this message to someone who is sitting in the dark right now, wondering if God still remembers them. You become the vessel through which heaven speaks to another weary heart. And if this message feeds your spirit, consider giving back not as a transaction, but as participation, like a farmer sowing into good soil. Your act of generosity ensures that the seeds of truth continue to spread. When you support, you're not just donating, you're watering the garden where countless souls come to find their strength again. Your engagement is the oil that keeps this flame burning. Each comment, each share, each seed of kindness helps the message reach another life on the edge of giving up. Together, we become a chorus of light, echoing heaven's voice through every corner of the earth. Chosen one, your confirmations are arriving. Heaven is speaking in patterns, in peace, in people, in timing. Watch closely. The divine pen never writes in vain. Every sign you notice is another heartbeat of the promise. Let your faith remain awake, your heart remain soft, and your gratitude remain steady. For soon, the signs will no longer be whispers, they will be reality. Chosen one, now that heaven has begun to send confirmation, something else will start to happen. Imitations will appear. Counterfeits always come before the promise. Before the real arrives, the false tries to distract, to delay, to divide your attention. This is the enemy's last tactic before breakthrough. And if you are not discerning, you may confuse imitation for intention. Do not be surprised when people suddenly resurface. When new faces appear, offering promises that sound familiar but feel slightly off. Not everything that glitters carries glory. The counterfeit always comes dressed as comfort, offering shortcuts that bypass process. It speaks your language but lacks your spirit. It looks like destiny, but it carries disturbance. This is a divine test, not of your strength, but of your discernment. Heaven allows counterfeits to appear not to torment you, but to teach you the language of peace. When the real promise arrives, it will come with clarity, not confusion. You won't have to beg for recognition, because divine connection recognizes itself. Every chosen one must learn this truth before every crown. there comes a counterfeit. Before true love, there comes distraction. Before your life partner appears, a false connection will attempt to mimic what heaven has prepared. The purpose of that encounter is to reveal whether you can discern between attachment and assignment. It was written by the Apostle John in his first letter. Chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits to see whether they are from God. This instruction still rings with urgency today. You are being trained to see beyond the surface, to listen beyond words, to discern beyond feelings. The counterfeit will flatter your wounds, but never feed your growth. It will offer attention, but not alignment. It will stimulate your emotions, but drain your peace. It will sound like destiny, but feel like distraction. Pay attention not to what people say, but to what your spirit senses. The Holy Spirit inside you is a compass that never lies. This is where patience protects you. When you move slowly, deception loses its power. The counterfeit thrives in haste, but suffocates under scrutiny. You will know the difference because the true will not demand you to compromise your peace or your purpose. The one heaven sends will complement your calling, not compete with it. In this moment, heaven is training your spiritual eyesight. You are learning to recognize patterns, not just people. The counterfeit often mirrors your prayers. It knows the words, but not the weight. It may speak of purpose, but lacks submission. It might appear kind, but its presence brings chaos disguised as excitement. Do not confuse emotional intensity with spiritual confirmation. The counterfeit rushes you. The divine aligns with you. The counterfeit demands immediate attachment. The divine invites gradual revelation. One drains, the other fills. One distracts you from God. The other draws you closer. You will notice that when the false approaches, your spirit grows unsettled. You will feel something off, not fear, but friction. Do not ignore that signal. That is heaven waving a flag of protection. The spirit within you knows the difference, even when your emotions do not. You are not being punished with temptation. You are being promoted through discernment. Heaven would not allow this if you weren't ready. Every test of deception is a doorway to deeper wisdom. Each counterfeit you resist refines your radar, preparing you for the authenticity that is on its way. Chosen one, let this truth settle deep into your soul. The counterfeit is loud, but the real is steady. The counterfeit performs, but the real simply is. The counterfeit needs validation. The real carries confirmation. When the right person enters your life, it will feel like peace putting on human form. Do not panic if counterfeits appear in this season. Take it as a prophetic sign that your promise is close. The false always shows up right before the real. The presence of imitation means heaven is about to reveal authenticity. So, guard your heart, not out of fear, but out of reverence for what's sacred. Your spirit is too precious to waste on distractions. The one heaven is sending will not play games with your peace. They will carry the same stillness that heaven has been cultivating in you. Every counterfeit is a mirror showing you what you've outgrown and reminding you that not everyone can handle the weight of a chosen one's heart. You are not missing out by walking away. You are protecting your promise. Now, as a prophetic act of discernment, declare your awareness in the comments. 444. That number carries the vibration of divine order, heaven's way of aligning you with truth and exposing everything false around you. When you type it, you are not just commenting, You are declaring that deception will no longer find entry into your heart. The counterfeits will fade, but your clarity will remain. The real will recognize you because it was shaped for you. And when it arrives, you will finally understand why waiting and discerning were acts of divine love. Chosen one. Loneliness can feel like a furnace. It burns away the noise, the distractions, and sometimes even the comfort you once clung to. When heaven isolates you, it is never for abandonment, it is for refinement. You are not being ignored, you are being purified. The silence you walk through now is shaping you into someone who can carry sacred things without breaking. There is a holy fire in solitude. It is not meant to destroy you, but to refine what cannot enter the next chapter. God removes unnecessary attachments in isolation because what is coming requires a different version of you, lighter, clearer, stronger. You are being stripped of illusions, insecurities, and dependencies that once felt like safety but were really chains. In this place, you are learning how to stand alone without feeling alone. Heaven wants you to understand that your peace is not dependent on people's presence but on divine connection. This kind of solitude does not shrink you, it stretches you. It makes you realize that even when no one else stands beside you, the presence of God is more than enough. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 66, verse 10. For you, God, tested us, you refined us like silver. The refining process is sacred, just as silver is heated until impurities rise to the surface. Your heart is being brought through spiritual fire, so that only what is pure remains. This is why the solitude feels intense. Heaven is purifying your motives, melting away your fears, and revealing your true reflection. Do not run from this stage, even though it stings. The refining fire is a teacher, and pain is the language of transformation. What feels like emptiness is really expansion. God is enlarging your capacity to receive. The loneliness that aches today will become the strength that anchors you tomorrow. Every chosen one must experience this inner wilderness, for it is in the wilderness that the whisper of God becomes clearest. You have noticed how quiet everything feels. Conversations fade, familiar faces distance, and even the noise of your mind begins to slow. That's not punishment, that's purification. Heaven often removes the crowd so that you can finally hear your own calling. Solitude exposes your fears, but it also reveals your strength. In this season, Heaven is teaching you to become comfortable in your own company, to find joy in silence, strength in stillness, and meaning in moments that others might overlook. The refining process is not glamorous, it's sacred and often hidden. But every tear you've cried in solitude is counted. Every sigh has been heard. Every question you whispered into the dark has reached divine ears. Isolation is not about being unseen, it's about being set apart. The world may not understand this phase because separation looks like loss to those who crave constant validation. But heaven is not hiding you to punish you, it is hiding you to prepare you. You are being covered until the right moment, the right alignment, the right union. The refining fire reveals what cannot burn. The things and people that fall away in this season are not rejection, they are revelation. They show you what was never rooted deeply enough to remain. You are learning to release with peace, to let go without resentment, to trust that what departs was never meant to dwell. And yet, Even in the loneliness, there is beauty. You begin to see how divine companionship fills the spaces human connection cannot. The Holy Spirit begins to speak in whispers you can finally hear because the noise is gone. You realize you were never alone. You were simply being tuned to a higher frequency of faith. Think of a blacksmith shaping a sword. The metal is heated, beaten, cooled, and polished again and again. It is not cruelty, it is craftsmanship. You are that sword in the hands of the master. The fire you feel is forming your strength. The hammer you hear is shaping your purpose. Every pressure is precise. Every strike is intentional. Heaven knows exactly how much you can bear. Chosen one. Solitude is your sacred school. You are learning endurance, discernment, humility, and quiet power. When you emerge from this refining process, you will not just carry light, you will be the light. You will no longer seek validation, you will embody conviction. The same silence that once frightened you will become your sanctuary. And when the fire cools, you will see the beauty of what remains pure, unshakable faith. The loneliness will no longer feel like lack, but like luxury, for it taught you to depend on the unseen more than the visible. You will understand why heaven had to pull you away to prepare you for the one who will not fear your fire, but honor it. Endure this refining. Chosen one, you are not being burned, you are being built. The furnace that tried to consume you will one day testify that it purified gold. Chosen one, when heaven begins to refine you in solitude, visions start to unfold within you, glimpses of a future not yet formed but already written. You begin to see flashes of something divine, two flames, distinct yet drawn together, burning brighter when united. This is the revelation of divine partnership, not born of need, but of purpose. It is not about romance alone, it is about alignment. Heaven is showing you a union that multiplies light, not just emotion. You might see it in dreams, or sense it in moments of still prayer. It comes not as fantasy, but as prophecy, a quiet knowing that someone, somewhere, is walking a parallel path of preparation. You are not waiting in vain. Your spirit is being tuned to recognize the one whose fire matches your frequency. This vision of two flames is not a sentimental story, it is a divine blueprint. Just as two candles, when brought close, create a stronger flame without losing their individual glow, so will this connection work. It will not consume, it will complement. The one heaven is preparing for you will not compete with your light, but will magnify it. The words of the wise teacher still speak through the book of Ecclesiastes. Chapter 4, verse 9, 2 are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. This truth transcends romance. It describes the divine law of unity. When two chosen souls align under heaven's order, their combined strength shakes spiritual realms. They build, heal, and rise together. You are being shown this now because you are ready to see partnership through heaven's eyes, not human emotion. The world has taught love as dependency. Heaven teaches it as divine synergy. The one who is meant for you will not complete you, they will join you. Completion already belongs to the Creator. Your partner's role is collaboration, not correction. Heaven's vision of union is built not on attraction, but on assignment. The fire within you burns for purpose, and heaven will not pair you with someone who only admires your flame. They must carry their own. This is why the waiting was long. The two lights needed to mature separately before they could merge without imbalance. In the vision, two flames approach each other. At first, their heat seems too intense. Both have endured storms. Both have scars from battles fought in silence. Yet, as they draw closer, the light stabilizes. The fire does not flicker wildly. It steadies, grows, harmonizes. That is how you will know it is divine. The peace between you will outshine the passion. This union is not built for comfort, it is built for calling. Together, you will awaken dormant things in each other: purpose, compassion, courage, vision. The two of you will carry a shared mission that ripples beyond personal happiness. You will become an answer to the prayers of others, a living testimony that holy love still exists. But first, you must understand that divine unions require divine maturity. The partnership you are being prepared for cannot survive on insecurity or ego. Both must be whole before becoming one. That is why heaven isolated you, to teach you the language of completeness. The love coming for you will not arrive to fill your emptiness. It will arrive because you are full. There is something sacred in this alignment, a rhythm only heaven can conduct. When your hearts finally meet, it won't feel like collision but recognition. Your souls will exhale, as though they have finally found home. You will not need to question it, analyze it, or force it. It will simply be. This vision of two flames is heaven's reassurance that you are not forgotten. The silence you endured was the sound of preparation. The one who mirrors your fire is being refined at the same pace, under the same grace. Their journey mirrors yours, lonely, purging, transformative. While you were being shaped, so were they. Chosen one. Remember this: love ordained by heaven is never rushed, never forced, and never breaks what it builds. It arrives with gentleness, not demand. It restores, not drains. It honors, not hides. When it comes, you will feel safe, not because everything is perfect, but because peace has finally taken human form. You are being given this glimpse not to tease your heart, but to anchor your faith. Keep this vision close. Guard it. Speak it quietly to your spirit when doubt comes. It is not imagination, it is revelation. The fire you carry was never meant to burn alone. When the time is right, heaven will bring flame to flame, light to light, purpose to purpose. And when that moment comes, the darkness around you will have no choice but to retreat, because together you will shine too brightly for it to remain. Chosen one. While you have been walking through fire and solitude, something extraordinary has been unfolding in another unseen corner of creation. The one who will walk beside you, your lifetime partner, is being shaped under the same divine hand. You may not see them, but heaven has not forgotten to balance the scales of purpose. While you grow in stillness, they grow in strength. While you learn faith through waiting, they learn faith through rebuilding. The same God who molded your heart is molding theirs. This is the hidden beauty of divine preparation. Heaven works in parallel. What looks like distance is actually design. What feels like separation is synchronization. The same storms that trained you to trust have been shaping them into a mirror of your endurance. You are not moving alone through your lessons. Someone else is being taught the same language of grace in another place. You may not know their face yet, but their spirit already recognizes yours. Heaven does not connect strangers, it unites reflections. The person meant for you is not being sent randomly, they are being sent in rhythm. The Creator is fine-tuning both of your hearts until they beat at the same spiritual frequency. There is a tenderness in this hidden preparation. Sometimes they pray words that sound just like yours. Sometimes they feel an ache they cannot explain, an emptiness that mirrors your own. That ache is not loneliness, it is divine echo. Heaven lets you feel pieces of each other before the introduction ever happens. The psalmist declared this eternal truth in the book of Psalms, chapter 138. Verse 8, "The Lord will perfect that which concerns me." That includes your future, your peace, your calling, and yes, your connection. What concerns your heart also concerns heaven's heart. Nothing about your love story is an accident. Every line is written with precision. Chosen one. Remember that preparation is partnership even before meeting. The unseen process is sacred. God is teaching both of you how to love from purity, not from pain. Before He joins your paths, He ensures both souls are healed enough to hold what He is sending. He does not want you to depend on each other out of emptiness, but to serve together out of fullness. In the unseen realm, your partner is being refined through challenges that mirror yours. They, too, are learning patience. They, too, are being separated from counterfeits, distractions, and shallow pursuits. Their nights have been filled with prayers they barely understand. Yet heaven is listening. When the time comes, your testimonies will sound like puzzle pieces, clicking perfectly into place. You are both learning trust separately so that when you finally meet, your trust will not be in each other first, but in God who authored your meeting. That is why the delay has been necessary. Heaven is aligning maturity, purpose, timing, and heart posture all at once. Imagine two rivers, flowing from different mountains but destined to meet in the same sea. They twist and turn, carving their own landscapes, unaware that they are always moving toward one another. That is what heaven is doing now. Your paths are moving closer with each act of obedience, each moment of surrender. The meeting point is written in eternity's schedule. Chosen one. Do not let impatience convince you that heaven forgot. The preparation you see in your life is proof that the other side is happening too. Divine unions are never one-sided. Heaven works symmetrically. What He begins in one heart, He finishes in another. There is an invisible pull that will draw you together when the time is right. You won't need to chase. You will simply recognize. The peace you feel when it happens will confirm that the wait was worth it. Right now, make a small declaration of alignment. Type these words in the comments, "I'm ready." Do not underestimate what you are declaring. When you say those words, you are not rushing God, you are agreeing with Him. You are telling heaven that you accept the pace, the process, and the preparation. You are saying, "I trust your timing more than my impatience." That simple phrase becomes a key in the spirit. It tells heaven you have learned the lesson of stillness and are ready for alignment. It activates angels who continue preparing your path and theirs to meet in divine precision. So, breathe. Beloved, the unseen hand is writing. The one meant for you is being shaped by the same fire that shaped you. Every hidden moment counts. Every prayer reaches both hearts. When the season ripens, what is written will unfold effortlessly. Until then, remain faithful. Remain grounded. and keep your heart open. For even now, heaven is perfecting what concerns you perfectly, patiently, purposefully. Chosen one, the air around you has begun to shift, subtly, quietly, like dawn creeping across a horizon that once felt endless with night. The signs are increasing, divine breadcrumbs leading you toward a new chapter. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. Heaven is showing you that manifestation is no longer distant, it is near, breathing just beyond your line of sight. In this season, heaven begins to reveal its hand through signs in the natural realm. Things start aligning in ways that logic cannot explain. You overhear words that echo your private prayers. You feel a gentle nudge to take a different route, only to meet someone who alters your direction. Even the smallest details, a song, a number, a phrase, begin to speak the language of destiny. This is not your imagination. It is heaven whispering through the fabric of reality. You have entered what can only be described as divine synchronization. Everything once delayed is starting to move into position. Every no that once wounded you was really a redirection. The patterns you are noticing are not random, they are signatures of orchestration. Heaven is weaving your next chapter through the threads of the ordinary. It was revealed long ago in the words of the prophet recorded in the book of Amos. Chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. That means heaven never moves silently. It always sends signals first. Those who are attuned, those who live in stillness, like you have learned to begin to notice them before others do. Pay attention to what repeats itself. God speaks in patterns because patterns reveal purpose. If something keeps surfacing, a verse, a name, a phrase, a place, write it down. Don't rush to interpret it. Revelation unfolds gradually, not instantly. Heaven hides mysteries within repetition, waiting for discernment to ripen. You may even find your dreams becoming more vivid, your intuition sharper, your peace deeper. That is not just emotional sensitivity, it is spiritual awareness. Your spirit is tuning in to the frequency of fulfillment. What you are feeling is the vibration of promise approaching. But remember, this is not the time to panic or push. Divine signs are not invitations to force movement, but to prepare your posture. The signs do not mean move now, they mean stay alert. Heaven never blesses haste, it blesses readiness. As you begin to notice these patterns, gratitude becomes your anchor. Each time a sign appears, pause and whisper, I see you, God. That acknowledgement is a form of worship. It keeps your heart aligned and your spirit humble. Signs are heaven's language, but gratitude is your reply. The world might dismiss what you're sensing. They will call it coincidence or fantasy. But those who live by faith understand that creation itself is prophetic. The sky, the timing, even the wind obey divine instruction. You are simply learning to hear the world through heaven's rhythm. Think of this like standing at the shoreline, watching the tide pull back before a great wave. That pause is not emptiness, it is gathering strength. Every sign is a ripple announcing that something greater is about to wash over your life. This is why, chosen one, your awareness matters. Your willingness to see is part of your calling. You were not chosen merely to receive blessings, but to recognize God in the details others overlook. That perception is sacred. It turns ordinary days into holy moments and random encounters into divine appointments. And if these words stir your spirit, If you feel that subtle confirmation burning inside, let your gratitude speak, gently like this message. Not for the sake of the algorithm, but for the sake of alignment, so that the same light that touched you can reach another weary heart. Share it, because someone else may be walking blind through their own season of signs, needing confirmation that heaven still speaks. And if you feel led, subscribe, not out of habit, but to stay connected to this unfolding stream of revelation. Each message you receive is a small torch to keep your spirit bright through the journey. Chosen one. Every like, every share, every whisper of amen is not just interaction, it is participation in the movement of light. It says, I am part of this divine unfolding. You become a ripple in heaven's river, helping carry hope further than you could on your own. Look closely now. The signs are not future, they are present. The language of heaven is everywhere around you, in the rhythm of your days, in the sudden clarity of your thoughts, in the peace that follows your prayers. You are living inside a prophecy being fulfilled moment by moment. So walk gently, pay attention, and stay thankful. The signs that surround you are not the destination, they are directions. Follow the peace. That is how you will know when the time has truly come. Chosen one. Whenever heaven is close to revealing fulfillment, resistance rises. The atmosphere shifts. The air feels heavier. What once seemed peaceful begins to stir again, not because you have done something wrong, but because darkness senses that its hold on you is ending. Every promise attracts warfare, and the closer you come to manifestation, the louder opposition becomes. This is not a setback, it is a signal. You are standing at the edge of breakthrough. Do not be surprised if confusion, weariness, or old fears try to creep back into your heart. The enemy always attacks at the threshold. He cannot create, so he imitates. He cannot stop what heaven decrees, so he tries to distract you from seeing it fulfilled. His goal is to make you doubt what you already know, to exhaust your patience so that you abandon the promise moments before it appears. This is the final interference, the last tremor before the ground splits open with blessing. If your spirit has felt heavier lately, if your mind feels foggy, if sudden anxiety or sadness seems to shadow your peace, know this: it is not regression. It is resistance. You are not slipping backward. You are pressing through spiritual pressure that always precedes divine release. The prophet Isaiah recorded words that echo through eternity, found in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." That is not a suggestion, it is a decree. Heaven is reminding you that opposition may form, but it cannot fulfill its purpose. The weapon can be built, but it will misfire. The curse can be spoken, but it will crumble before reaching you. You are surrounded by divine protection that no darkness can penetrate. In this moment, you must learn the art of still warfare, fighting not through fear or panic, but through unwavering peace. Every storm has a sound, but your strength is found in silence. When the enemy throws confusion, respond with clarity. When he throws accusation, respond with truth. When he throws fear, respond with worship. These are your weapons. They are invisible, but invincible. Heaven is not asking you to fight harder, but to stand firmer. Remember how far you have come. Every trial that once threatened to break you has only built endurance. You are not the same person who began this journey. Your spirit has grown muscle, Your discernment has sharpened. Your peace has become your armor. You must understand that spiritual warfare intensifies not because you are losing ground, but because you are gaining it. The closer you move toward destiny, the more darkness trembles. Every chosen one carries light, and light exposes what hides. When you step into alignment, darkness panics, because exposure means defeat. Sometimes the interference comes through people misunderstandings, arguments, sudden distance. Sometimes it comes through circumstances, delays, financial strain, unexpected detours, and sometimes it comes inwardly, thoughts that whisper doubt, emotions that swing wildly. None of these are random, they are reactions. Heaven allows them only to prove how unshakable you have become. The storm you face right now is confirmation that you have reached the border of fulfillment. The shaking you feel is not destruction, it is birthing. Just as a mother's labor intensifies moments before delivery, the pain increases because the promise is ready to emerge. Hold your position. Do not misinterpret the contractions as catastrophe. They are signs that manifestation is near. Chosen one, you must also remember that peace is not the absence of battle, it is authority within it. You are no longer reacting, you are reigning. The enemy's chaos is powerless against a heart that remains calm in God. Your peace confuses darkness because it reveals that you know something it does not, that victory is already written. Keep your spirit anchored in faith. Speak life over your days. Refuse to entertain defeat, even when you cannot see progress. Heaven's silence does not mean absence, it means completion. The plan is unfolding even when you cannot trace its outline. This season is your final test of endurance. Every chosen one experiences this threshold, a moment where heaven watches to see if faith will hold without visible evidence. It is not about performance, it is about trust. Can you rest while the wind howls? Can you believe while the evidence contradicts? If you can, then you have already won. Soon, you will look back and see that this interference was never meant to destroy you, but to reveal your dominion. You will realize that the pressure was proof of promotion. The very storm that tried to bury you became the stage that crowned you. Hold fast. Chosen one. The night may be loud, but dawn is already written. Heaven's decree stands: no weapon formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment will fall silent. You are untouchable, unbreakable, and unstoppable in the will of God. Chosen one. After the storm of interference comes a sacred command not to fight, not to strive, but to rest. This is the call to prophetic rest, a deep surrender that goes beyond physical stillness. It is a rest that exists even while things around you remain unfinished. Heaven is inviting you to release control, to stop trying to manage outcomes that were never yours to orchestrate. You have fought well. You have endured the fires of testing, the weight of waiting, and the pull of impatience. Now, God whispers, "Be still again, but this time from a place of peace, not from pain." You are not retreating, you are resting in victory already secured. The divine orchestration is in motion, and heaven needs your calm faith, not your anxious effort. In this phase, the spiritual pace slows so the heart can heal. Heaven moves quietly, adjusting final details. You may feel like nothing is happening, but everything is being sealed. It is here that the warrior learns to worship without warfare, to trust without needing proof. Jesus spoke these words that still echo with compassion through time, found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is not a suggestion, it is a divine promise. The kind of rest offered here is not passive, it is prophetic. It is where faith sits down in confidence, knowing that the unseen is already unfolding perfectly. Rest is not absence of movement, it is presence of trust. It means laying your worries on the altar and walking away, knowing heaven is handling what you cannot. You are not losing control, you are transferring it. You are letting the Creator do what only the Creator can do. Chosen one, the enemy tries to make you believe that rest equals laziness, that if you stop pushing, you'll fall behind. But in the kingdom, rest is revelation. It is the moment you realize that effort without grace achieves nothing lasting. Heaven works best through those who no longer strive to force the outcome. This is why the quiet after warfare feels so strange. Your spirit was trained to fight. But now, God is training you to dwell. The battlefield has shifted. Now your obedience is measured not by how hard you fight, but by how deeply you trust. The promise is being delivered, not demanded. Prophetic rest looks like peace that confuses logic. It looks like smiling while waiting, praising while unsure, sleeping while storms still circle. It is not denial of reality, it is defiance against fear. When you choose rest, you are saying to the unseen realm, my God is still working, even when I am not. There is holiness in this silence. Heaven is sealing prayers, aligning roots, softening hearts, preparing moments. You cannot see the movement because divine work is delicate, invisible hands rearranging visible realities. That's why heaven tells you to stay calm. Too much noise would disrupt precision. This season of prophetic rest is where faith graduates from words to embodiment. You no longer just speak peace, you become peace. You no longer pray from desperation but from assurance. The heart that once trembled now carries quiet authority. You may notice that your priorities are changing. What once triggered anxiety now barely stirs you. What once required explanation now requires none. This is evidence that rest is taking root. The noise within you is being replaced with knowing. The waiting doesn't hurt anymore because you understand its purpose. Chosen one, your posture of rest is your loudest prophecy. It tells heaven that you trust the process. It tells darkness that you no longer fear delay. And it tells your promise, wherever it is, that you are ready to receive it without striving. This is not the time to chase signs or force outcomes. Instead, nurture stillness, feed your peace. Let gratitude be your rhythm. The world runs on hurry, but heaven runs on harmony. You are being aligned with that sacred flow. And as a sign of agreement, as a prophetic act of peace, type these numbers below 333. This number represents divine completeness, Father, Son, and Spirit working together in unity. When you write it, you are declaring that you trust the Trinity to perfect what concerns you. You are saying, I rest under divine alignment. This is your declaration that rest is no longer a reaction, it is your residence. You are no longer waiting for peace, you are peace. You are no longer hoping for the promise, you are walking toward it with grace. Rest. Chosen one, the silence is not empty, it is full of movement. The waiting is not wasted, it is woven with wonder. The one who called you faithful has already gone ahead to finish what he began. So breathe again. Let go of timelines and expectations. You are in the safest hands imaginable. Heaven has not forgotten you. It is simply finalizing the miracle in silence. Chosen one, everything that has been whispered, prepared, and promised is now converging. The invisible and the visible are beginning to meet. What was once unseen is stepping forward into form. You may not realize it yet, but the orchestration is complete. Paths are aligning, timings are colliding, and heaven is setting the stage for divine introduction. You will not need to search. Destiny will cross your path naturally. It will not arrive through striving, chasing, or forcing. Divine meetings happen by precision, not persuasion. One ordinary day will carry extraordinary significance. The moment will feel simple, but your spirit will recognize it as sacred. The steps of your life have not been random every turn. Delay and detour led you here. Heaven has choreographed the rhythm perfectly. The right place, the right hour, the right heart, all set by divine appointment. What you once thought was coincidence will suddenly make sense, like 1,000 puzzle pieces falling into perfect order. The psalmist wrote this timeless assurance in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 23. The steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. These words describe what you are living now. You are walking inside divine order. Even when you didn't understand the route, heaven was mapping every step. This is the moment where heaven proves that obedience was never in vain. All those times you stayed still when everything in you wanted to move, it mattered. Every prayer whispered through tears, every sacrifice of patience, every moment of surrender has become part of this holy timing. The meeting that is about to occur is not a random crossing of paths, it is the manifestation of years of alignment. When it happens, it will not need explanation. The peace will speak for itself. The moment your eyes meet, or your hearts recognize each other's rhythm, you will know. It will feel like a memory awakening, not a new introduction. Because heaven wrote this encounter long before you were born. The divine meeting is never dramatic, it is deliberate. It doesn't come with fireworks, but with calm assurance. It feels natural because it is supernatural. You will find yourself saying, "This feels different." The conversation will flow easily. The energy will feel familiar. Your soul will recognize home without needing proof. Heavenly alignment feels like peace, not pressure. That is how you will know. The right connection will not demand that you change to fit it. Instead, it will draw out the version of you that God always intended. It will not exhaust you, it will expand you. You will notice divine timing even in the small details, how the place, the conversation, and the mood align effortlessly. Heaven loves subtlety. God often hides miracles inside moments that seem mundane. The person you are about to meet may not come with fanfare or obvious signs, but your spirit will know. The recognition will be silent yet undeniable. This convergence is not just for emotional fulfillment, it is for kingdom purpose. 2 lives, 2 callings, 2 testimonies, all merging to serve a greater story. You will find that your missions intertwine naturally. What you carry complements what they lack. What they carry balances what you've been missing. This partnership is not built on attraction, but on assignment. When your paths finally converge, you will feel gratitude, not shock. The peace that surrounds the moment will be your confirmation. You will sense the hand of heaven resting gently on both of you. It will feel as though time pauses, not in fantasy, but in recognition. Every divine meeting happens under heaven's watchful eye. You cannot miss what is meant for you, because heaven does not lose track of what it ordains. The same hand that guided you through isolation and warfare will guide this meeting into perfect manifestation. Chosen one. The connection approaching your life is not a random encounter, it is a divine unveiling. Heaven hides what is precious until it's ready. You were hidden, they were hidden. Now, revelation comes for both. You will meet not in confusion, but in clarity. Not in desperation, but in destiny. Let this truth calm your heart. Divine love does not arrive in chaos. It arrives in order. It does not pull you away from God. It draws you closer. It does not awaken fear. It ignites purpose. You will recognize it not by the rush of emotion, but by the rest it brings to your spirit. When paths finally converge, you will understand why every not yet was necessary. You will see that waiting was not wasted, it was the womb of the miracle. And as your story unfolds, you will stand in quiet awe, knowing that every step, every silence, and every season was preparing you for this single divine intersection. Chosen one, keep your heart open. The meeting is written. The coordinates are set. Heaven has already gone ahead to ensure nothing and no one can interfere. The divine paths are converging, and soon, what was once promised will stand before you, breathing, smiling, and proving that heaven always keeps its word. Chosen one. When the divine meeting finally takes place, something extraordinary happens, recognition beyond the surface. You will realize that your connection is not born of mere coincidence or attraction, it is remembrance. The soul knows what the mind cannot yet comprehend. You are not meeting for the first time, your spirits are simply remembering the covenant written long ago in heaven's script. In that moment, words will become unnecessary. The atmosphere itself will speak. Every glance, every pause, every silence between you will carry weight, as though creation itself is holding its breath. This is what divine recognition feels like, not chaos, not confusion, but calm familiarity, like coming home after a long journey. You will feel as though your heart recognizes a rhythm it forgot it once knew. The peace will be tangible. The conversation will flow without effort. Time will seem to stand still, not because of fantasy, but because eternity has intersected with the present. Jesus described this mystery beautifully in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 27, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." This verse does not speak only of hearing God, it speaks of recognition through intimacy. In the same way, your spirit will recognize what heaven authored. You will not need signs to convince you. Peace will testify on its own. The connection between you will carry a sense of divine knowing. You will sense it in their presence, a stillness that mirrors your own, a purity that matches your journey. Their voice will carry familiarity. Their spirit will carry resonance. It will not feel like you are discovering, it will feel like you are remembering. Divine recognition happens when two people who have walked separate paths of refinement suddenly see how those paths were always guiding them toward each other. It is as though heaven whispers, "See, I was working all along. All the pain, all the lessons, all the detours they were forming, the two of you into perfect alignment. When you meet, it will not awaken restlessness, it will quiet it. The excitement will not come from uncertainty, but from understanding. You will feel no urge to rush, because peace never hurries. The bond will form naturally, and the communication between your spirits will flow beyond words. Chosen one, do not fear the simplicity of the connection. The world teaches love through drama and intensity, but heaven expresses love through harmony. The right one will not provoke anxiety, but awaken assurance. The energy will not drain, it will restore. You will know it is right when you feel completely yourself, unmasked, unpressured, unafraid. This is the beauty of divine recognition. It reveals that you were never searching for completion, but for reflection. The person heaven sends will not fill your emptiness, they will mirror your wholeness. Together, you will form something greater than either of you alone, not through dependence, but through divine synergy. There is sacred mystery in how two souls, refined by separate fires, recognize each other instantly. Perhaps it is because both have been marked by the same divine hand. Their wounds fit your compassion, your strength meets their tenderness. Heaven does not pair perfection with perfection, it joins healed scars with healed understanding. That is how purpose breathes through partnership. And yet, chosen one, recognition is only the beginning. It will not be a fairy tale. It will be a calling. You will feel the weight of responsibility to protect what heaven has birthed, to nurture it with prayer, to steward it with humility. Divine connection requires spiritual maturity to sustain it. The moment you recognize each other, heaven watches closely, not to test you, but to trust you. When two souls recognize each other in truth, the world around them begins to shift. Others may sense something different, something radiant that cannot be explained. That light is not human affection, it is divine energy radiating from a bond heaven designed. You become living proof that alignment is real. Do not fear this level of intimacy, it is holy, not heavy. It is a partnership built on purpose, where each presence becomes a sanctuary for the other. You will find rest in their honesty, strength in their quiet, courage in their faith. This connection will not take from you, it will multiply you. Chosen one, remember, this divine recognition is not fireworks, it is a sunrise. It begins gently, warms gradually, and lights everything clearly. It feels less like falling in love and more like standing in truth. It is peace with a pulse. It is purpose with a heartbeat. It is heaven reminding you that promises kept are better than dreams imagined. When the eyes of destiny finally meet, your soul will whisper, "It was always you," and heaven will answer, "Yes, it was always my plan." You will not need to prove, chase, or analyze. The connection will speak its own language, steady, sacred, sure. You will understand then that love is not something you find. It is something that finds you when both lights are ready to burn as one. Chosen one, when heaven unites two flames, it does so not merely to fulfill hearts, but to fulfill purpose. The covenant that begins between you is not just emotional, it is eternal. What heaven joins is never shallow. It is born of mission, steeped in meaning, and sealed in grace. You will feel it immediately that this love is not here just to make you happy, but to make you whole. You will discover that partnership, when designed by heaven, feels like an orchestra. Every instrument plays differently, yet together they create something breathtaking. Your gifts will complement, not compete. Their silence will not threaten you, it will steady you. You will learn to speak through actions, to love through understanding, and to grow through humility. The covenant of purpose is unlike anything you have known before. It is not built on constant highs or emotional fireworks. It is built on consistency. It is the steady flame that warms through storms and never flickers under pressure. It is the kind of bond that matures rather than fades. Love as stewardship, not as possession. In the sacred text of Mark, chapter 10, verse 9, the words resound with holy authority. What God has joined together, let no one separate. These are not just words of ceremony, they are words of protection. Heaven guards what it joins. Every divine partnership carries an invisible seal that darkness cannot undo. When two chosen ones unite in alignment, their bond becomes a living covenant, a promise both to each other and to heaven itself. Together, you will move as one body with two hearts, a reflection of unity that heals others simply by existing. Your love will carry the fragrance of peace, the sound of restoration. People around you will feel safer, stronger, more hopeful, simply because they have seen what heaven can build through surrender. This is not a love meant to stay quiet. It's a message written through the way you live. Speak, forgive, and serve. Every act of kindness you share, every prayer you lift together, every battle you overcome side by side will echo across generations. You will become a testimony that divine unions are not fantasy, they are strategy. Heaven heals the world through the love of the chosen. Your connection will not just bless you, it will ripple outward. It will heal families, restore faith, and break generational patterns. Where others saw endings, you will create beginnings. You will remind the weary that real love still exists, love that protects, honors, and uplifts. Picture it this way: two torches, once flickering alone in the dark, now burn side by side, their light stretching farther than either could reach alone. This is the covenant of purpose. The glow you share will not only light your path, but illuminate others still finding their way through shadows. And if this message stirs your soul, take a gentle moment, like, share, and comment your reflections. Your engagement is not about numbers, it's about nurturing light. Each interaction is like adding oil to this flame, helping it reach someone who desperately needs warmth tonight. You never know whose darkness your small gesture might pierce. And if you feel led, subscribe to stay connected to this ongoing current of revelation. These words are more than posts. They are reminders of who you are and who heaven is shaping you to become. By staying near, you keep your spirit tuned to the same rhythm that heaven is playing in your life. If this space has fed your soul, consider sowing back into it, not from obligation, but from overflow. Think of it like watering a well that quenched your thirst, ensuring it never runs dry for others who come after you, whether through kind words, prayers, or support. Your participation keeps the message alive, helping more chosen ones rise into their calling. You are not donating to a person, you are investing in purpose. You are adding bricks to a house of hope that shelters countless hearts around the world. Every act of generosity, no matter the size, becomes a seed that heaven multiplies back in unexpected ways. Chosen one, This is what divine covenant looks like: mutual pouring, mutual strengthening, mutual faith. You are not walking alone anymore. You now stand beside someone whose presence reminds you of heaven's faithfulness and whose love reflects the Creator's tenderness. Together, you become evidence that miracles are not just moments, they are relationships that reveal the hand of God. So guard this covenant. Nurture it daily. Water it with prayer. Shield it with peace. Feed it with truth. Let gratitude be the language you both speak. And remember, this connection was never yours to boast in, it is yours to bless through. You are no longer just two individuals. You are a living altar where heaven meets earth. And as your union deepens, it will keep proving one timeless truth, that when God joins two lights, no shadow can separate them. Chosen one. Once the covenant is established, its influence begins to radiate beyond you. A divine partnership is never contained. It ripples outward like circles expanding on still water. The love between two chosen souls is not meant to stay private. It is meant to restore what was broken, to heal what was forgotten, and to remind others that light still reigns. What you and your counterpart carry together is not just affection, but assignment. Heaven designed your union as a living prophecy, a visible manifestation of grace and endurance. The peace that rests between you becomes medicine for those who have given up hope in love. The way you forgive becomes instruction. The way you walk in unity becomes restoration for others. The prophet Isaiah once declared in the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 12, "You will be called repairer of broken walls, restorer of streets with dwellings." This is the very essence of your calling now. Your connection was never meant to exist only for pleasure, but for purpose. The love that healed you is now assigned to heal others. You will begin to notice how people draw near, not because of curiosity, but because of the peace you both carry. There is something magnetic about divine unity. It radiates an energy that unsettles darkness and attracts the weary. Your home will feel like sanctuary. Your conversations will birth clarity. Even your silence together will speak of heaven's order. This is the ripple of restoration. It begins subtly through words of encouragement you speak to a stranger, through acts of kindness that cost you nothing but change everything. As your partnership matures, you will find yourselves being used as instruments in ways you did not plan. A small prayer shared together might break chains in another's life. A quiet act of generosity might unlock someone else's healing. Heaven's strategy is simple but profound. It transforms two healed hearts into a fountain. You will not always see the impact immediately, but every ripple continues long after it leaves you. Your presence becomes a message that wholeness is possible, that love can be holy, that purpose can be shared without rivalry. The world has seen enough of brokenness. Now it needs living examples of restoration. And this is what you have become. You are no longer surviving your past, you are redeeming it. What once wounded you now becomes the very tool you use to comfort others. Where there was silence, there will now be song. Where there was loss, there will now be laughter. People will ask how you managed to find such peace. They will wonder how two humans can reflect such calm and strength. You will not boast, you will simply smile. For you know the truth, it was not found. It was forged. Every tear that once fell in solitude watered the roots of what you now carry. Every waiting season built the soil that sustains this harvest. Chosen one, your partnership is not just a reward, It is a revival. It awakens hearts that have grown numb. It calls people back to the belief that love ordained by heaven still exists, still endures, still transforms. Your connection becomes a testimony louder than any sermon, living proof that God's promises are worth the wait. Do not underestimate the power of presence. Just being who you are together shifts atmospheres. When you walk into a room, peace follows. When you speak, understanding flows. You have become channels, vessels through which heaven moves quietly but unmistakably. In this phase, your influence may grow in ways you do not expect. Some will find courage through your story. Others will find healing through your example. But remember, your mission is not to perform holiness, it is to live honestly, graciously, and consistently. Authenticity is what separates divine unions from worldly alliances. You will face moments where your light provokes resistance, because light always exposes shadows. But do not shrink back. Every ripple that challenges darkness is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Restoration is not always gentle. Sometimes it disrupts before it rebuilds. Yet everything it touches is transformed for the better. Heaven chose you both because your scars no longer define you, they testify for you. Together, you have become restorers, not just of hearts, but of hope itself. Every act of unity is an echo of redemption, a reminder that nothing surrendered to God ever truly dies. So walk in grace. Chosen one, let your union remain a song of peace in a world still learning how to listen. You are no longer just receiving miracles, you have become one. The ripple has begun, and it will not stop until it has touched every life heaven intended it to reach. Chosen one, now the circle completes. The path that began in struggle, silence, and surrender has led you here to the peace of fulfillment. You have crossed the threshold of waiting and walked into the promise fully realized. What once felt distant now lives within reach. Heaven has not only answered your prayers, it has exceeded them. You stand crowned with completion. This is not a temporary joy, it is eternal closure. The war that once raged inside your soul has been silenced by divine harmony. Every fragment of your journey now makes sense, every tear, every delay, every season that seemed wasted was part of a larger masterpiece you could not yet see. In the letter of the Apostle Paul, written in the second book of Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, the sacred words resound, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." These are the words of completion, the anthem of endurance. And now, chosen one, they belong to you. You have fought, you have endured, and you have believed. The storms that once sought to drown you only taught you how to breathe beneath waves. The waiting that once felt unbearable became the training ground of faith. The solitude that once felt cruel became the sanctuary where heaven taught you to hear clearly. You are no longer surviving, you are reigning. Completion does not mean perfection, it means peace. It is the quiet satisfaction that comes when every piece of the puzzle finally finds its place. You are not looking back with regret, you are looking back with revelation. You can now see that nothing was wasted. Even the pain had purpose. Even the silence carried instruction. Every disappointment redirected you toward destiny. The crown you wear now is not visible, yet it is undeniable. It is made of endurance, forged in the fires of trust. Heaven places it upon your spirit, not as a reward for effort, but as recognition of faith. You remained steadfast when others surrendered. You kept believing when evidence was gone. You trusted when your heart was tired. And now, you stand radiant proof that faith is never forgotten by the author of time. Chosen one, look around you. The landscape of your life has changed. What was once barren now blossoms. What was once heavy now breathes freely. The light that once flickered now burns steady. You have become what you once prayed for: strong, peaceful, unshakable. You will notice that your heart no longer grasps, it gives. You no longer fear loss because you finally understand that nothing heaven ordains can ever be taken. Your joy is no longer fragile. It flows from a well that never runs dry. This is what completion feels like: not noise, but stillness, not striving, but surrender. And as you walk forward with your lifetime partner beside you, you will realize that the journey is not ending, it is evolving. The same God who guided you here continues to write new chapters beyond this point. The crown of completion is also the key of continuation. Heaven does not close stories, it deepens them. You have become an anchor in a drifting world. The peace you carry is contagious. The wisdom you gained is generational. Others will look to you not because you are perfect, but because you are proof. Proof that divine timing works. Proof that obedience opens doors. Proof that faith survives fire. Every chosen one who crosses into completion becomes a beacon. You no longer speak from hope alone, you speak from history with heaven. You can now say, I have seen his faithfulness with my own eyes. That testimony carries power beyond words. It carries presence. When you walk into a room, peace will follow. When you speak, hearts will quiet. When you love, heaven will move through you. Chosen one, let gratitude be the language of this new season. Every sunrise is now an altar. Every conversation, a prayer. Every moment a reminder that you are living proof of divine design. You have learned to love without fear, to give without depletion, to believe without demand. That is the true sign of a completed soul. Now, as heaven seals this story, know this: the completion was never about arrival, but awakening. You have discovered who you truly are, not just chosen, but changed. You are the fulfilled prophecy, the answered prayer, the living covenant between endurance and grace. The old you no longer exists. The fearful one, the restless one, the uncertain one, they have all dissolved in the light of revelation. You have emerged whole, holy, and healed. Chosen one, you won. You stayed. You trusted. And because you did, heaven crowned you with peace that cannot be stolen, and love that cannot be undone. The journey continues, but from here forward, you walk no longer as a seeker, you walk as a keeper of promise. This is completion. This is destiny fulfilled. This is the sound of heaven saying, well done, chosen one. Take a moment and breathe, not out of exhaustion, but out of awe. You have reached the end of this journey. Yet somehow it feels like the beginning of something greater. You've walked through fire, stood in silence, and arrived in peace. What once looked like endless waiting has become proof that heaven keeps every promise, no matter how long it takes. Now you carry something rare, wisdom born from endurance. You've learned to hear the quiet voice of God amid the noise, to find meaning in stillness, to love without fear. and to trust timing that seemed impossible to understand. You have become both the message and the miracle. This story, your story, is more than inspiration. It's a map for others still wandering in the dark. Somewhere, someone is praying the same prayer you once whispered. Someone else is standing at their own threshold of faith, unsure if they can hold on. And you, chosen one, have become the evidence they need that light always wins. If these words have touched your spirit, if they've reminded you who you are and why you're still standing, let your heart respond. Like this message, not for applause, but as an act of agreement, a silent amen that tells heaven you are ready for the next chapter. Share it so another weary soul can find the strength to stay in their process. You might never know whose life you save simply by passing the light forward. And when your heart feels full, leave a comment, share what part spoke to you most. Words have power, and your testimony might be the key that unlocks healing for someone else, reading in silence. Let this space become an altar of voices, rising together, a community of believers, each carrying a spark of divine truth. If you've found peace here, stay connected, subscribe, so this flow of light continues to reach you. Every message, every whisper from heaven is a reminder that you are not alone, not forgotten, and never without purpose. Thank you for walking this journey. May your steps remain steady, your heart remain open, and your faith remain unshakable. You are the proof that chosen ones never lose. They simply rise again and again.